I need a job with a steady paycheck.
I need a job that offers health care on day one for me and my kids.
I want a job where I can get certified in technical roles, like robotics or software engineering.
In communities across the country, hourly Amazon employees earn an average of over $23 an hour, with opportunities to grow their skills and their paycheck by enrolling in free skills training programs and apprenticeships. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Brews and banter.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Roman. How are you?
Doing great. We're here with PJ. Would you like to introduce yourself, and then we'll start from there?
Yeah, I'm PJ, and I own the X Gym since 1998, and I've been a personal trainer since 1987. And so just been long, really super fun journey. Invented my own exercise methodology, and also biohacker, anti-aging expert, and research nerd.
Good. We'll talk about all that for sure.
Love all of that.
Yeah.
So, well, we're gonna cheers here. I don't know if you got a drink or not, but we're enjoying Roaring 20s Brewing Company that's sponsoring this episode for us. So we appreciate that. Cheers, Frank. Cheers, PJ.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Where are you located?
Kirkland, Washington.
Oh.
And is this where originally X Gym started from?
Yeah, we've actually expanded and moved a couple times. So we started in Seattle, it's just about 10 minutes away, and then expanded, moved, and now we're here in Kirkland. And so we have our facility here that's physical, where people come and they do small group training and one-on-one training. We also do a ton of online training. And then we have an exercise app that people use all around the world, and a brain type test. So lots of new technology and unique inventions that we've come up with.
The online training, is that a subscription base? Or do you buy
the online training is just monthly membership. So it's just kind of like coming to the X Gym, except people are too far away to come to the X Gym. So we just train them through FaceTime or Teams. It's kind of interesting because we've been doing online training since 2017. So when COVID hit and they started shutting down the gyms, but keeping open the casinos and liquor stores, then we did the online thing, and we had already been doing it for years. And everybody else all the other gyms were freaking out and trying to figure it out for the first time, and just super awkward. But we were the OG, and so it was easy for us. And so that was no big of a deal. But the interesting thing is, even though our members knew that we were doing online training before the shutdown, they still preferred to come in the gym, even if their commute was, 10 minutes or more. But then once they were forced into it, then half of them, actually more than half of them, just stayed with the online, even if they were just 10 minutes away, because it was just as effective, and it was so much more convenient because they didn't have to drive that 10 minutes each way, and they could use their own shower and all that kind of stuff. And so that was an interesting thing to see that I didn't expect.
So how did you, once you experienced that kind of data from your clients, how did you utilize that and expand into your business?
Well, we were able to open up more live slots at the X Gym. So that's how it expanded the business. And some of our trainers can train from home. So they can train, because online, you don't have to be, we do a lot of training. Our trainers do a lot of training at the X Gym that's online. So they're either training somebody on the floor in the gym, or they're training somebody at the counter with the iPad. And sometimes both. Sometimes there's a person in the gym at the same time as another trainer is training someone online at the counter. So it was nice to be able to add more slots to the schedule as well. So that's how it helped.
So all the training is live. There's no pre-recorded exercises that somebody can like refer back to and use that?
The one-on-one training live is live if it's online or in the gym. We have an exercise app that people can also subscribe to, and those are videos. So the app is not live, it's recorded videos, and they can go into the app and then make their own workout by selecting videos with the filter and put together their own 21-minute routine, because all our workouts are just 21 minutes. Or they can just do one exercise, or they can they can select one of the 21-minute routines where the exercises are put together for them. And which is kind of nice, especially with the app, because then people who are super busy and they only have 3 minutes, then they just do one exercise. They pull up their phone and they scroll through and see which one they want to do. And then boom, 3-minute exercise. We call that an exercise snack. And then they just do that one exercise. And that's because busy people come to the X Gym. And so busy people love that functionality. And the reason we have so many busy people is because it only takes 21 minutes and it's just twice a week.
Yep.
I like the snack idea. Give your body a snack, don't let it starve.
Yeah. Well, there's recent research on it too, that exercise snacks are actually really beneficial. You don't have to commit to a big, huge, long, whole workout, because sometimes psychologically, that's just tough to swallow.
Yeah.
And it gets in people's way, especially the New Year's resolutionaries, I call them, where they make their resolutions and then they commit to at least 3 workouts per week at the gym. And those traditional workouts are an hour. So that's 3 hours a week. And then you add the commute time. So now you're talking, 4 or 5 hours a week of commitment. But with the app, there's none of that. And you can just do a snack. Mm-hmm. And if you have a spare 3 minutes, you just fit it in. And 3 minutes isn't long enough to get overly exhausted or sweaty. And so you can do it even in your work clothes during the day and just take that break. And it's really invigorating and vitalizing when you take a break and you do an intense 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's really good for the brain. It's really good for the body.
Sorry.
No. I was just going to get into that. I mean, I know there's some different, I guess, physiological or psychological sort of facets to your business as far as, what's involved with your brain and the calorie count. Mm-hmm. If you want to get into some of that, we can talk about that as well.
Oh yeah. It's brain training, and every workout we do is body training and brain training, because the workout methods I invented are very controlled motion. It's kind of like Tai Chi, but with resistance. And because it's time under tension, like Tai Chi, and controlled movements, you don't need heavy weights. It's kind of opposite of CrossFit, where you're using really heavy weights and fast ballistic motions and kipping and all these explosive kind of movements and motions. It's very controlled motion, and you're staying in tension for a really long time. And each exercise takes about 3 minutes without any rest until complete muscle fatigue. So it's endurance training, it's nerve training, it's brain training, it's strength training, all in one workout. But because of the motion and because of the required focus of the brain and the control of the nerves to control everything, the motion and the movements, there's 7 different methods and 30 different splinter techniques, very in-depth, kind of complicated program, then it takes a lot of concentration. And so that's what's so good about the brain, and why the brain gets so many benefits, is because anytime that you are concentrating, you're benefiting the prefrontal cortex, the front part of the brain, as you're benefiting the motor cortex, the back part of the brain. And you're benefiting both together and linking them together. So people get more coordinated. You get better at focusing on things. You get worse at multitasking and better at focusing, which is a good thing, because we're not supposed to multitask. The brain is meant for focus. And if you look at the most financially successful people in the world, they're all really good at focusing, and they're horrible multitaskers. Yeah. So when the brain actually isn't even able to multitask, it's just switching back and forth really fast. And then it's just being really crappy at everything. But when you focus and you don't do that switching, then you can be really good at something and you can hyper focus. You can get in your zone, the groove, and flow is what a lot of people call it. When you're really concentrating on something interesting or fun or a project and time just flies by, mm-hmm. You look at your watch and 2 hours are gone and you thought it was 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's flow.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you were really productive in that time, weren't you?
Right.
And so, that's what what we call successful people in the world are just really good at that. And they're also not very good at multitasking because it's not the way we're designed.
Yeah.
So you're mentioning the 21-minute structure.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of like a couple follow-up questions. First, why 21 minutes? What's the science behind it, I guess?
Yeah. So when I was developing this methodology, I was mostly training clients out of their homes. After I graduated from SPU with exercise science, that degree taught me how to do science, how to read research. And so I was doing experiments and my clients were guinea pigs and they thought it was fun. So they didn't mind. And I developed this methodology and it kept getting shorter and shorter. And it started as an hour. But, over the course of those first 11 years of developing all this, it ended up being 20 minutes. And so that was when I started the X Gym in 1998 is the 20-minute workout twice a week. And what we noticed is kind of interesting because there's a lot of psychology rolled into this. And in fact, that's what my degree was when I started college. And then I switched to exercise science my senior year. So there's a lot of psychology in this because that's another one of my passions. But I noticed that people, if we went like 22 or 23 minutes instead of 20, they would complain. They'd say, hey, I thought this was supposed to be 20 minutes. and so I thought that was kind of weird because, if we go over, it was just because we're giving them extra service. Maybe we're asking them about how your nutrition is going or, hey, how about that tweak you were talking about? Is that healed up or whatever? And so then I was talking to one of my other psychology friends and telling him about this phenomenon. And he goes, oh yeah, I know what you should do. Make it 21 minutes because 20 is a round number. If you make it 21 and you go 22 or 23 minutes, they won't care. And so I thought, that's interesting. And 7 happens to be my favorite number. And 21 is a multiple of 7. So I'm all in. So we made that change and voila, nobody complains anymore. They do notice if it's less than 20 minutes, like if it's 19, then they'll say something, but it never is because we make sure that we give them, all 21. But now if we're giving them extra service and doing nice things for them, and so that's 20, even 24 or 25 minutes, nobody even notices and they don't care because it went from 20 to 21.
It's a very interesting factor, the psychological part of it. I took marketing classes and they talked about some brands and the logos, why they're designed certain way. And there's a psychological study behind the branding and what your brain retains, how easily is something recognizable. Yep. And it's interesting to know, I was wondering why 21 minutes.
Yeah.
It makes sense. When I used to go to the gym with my friends and we do reps, we never stopped at 10. It was always one more. Let's do 11, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
And then, so my other question was after that, when you say the intense snack, those 3 minutes, now, is that intensity only for the snacks or is that the kind of intensity level you do for the whole 21 minutes?
Yeah, every exercise is like that. So in a 21-minute workout, it's going to be 5 or 6 exercises. And each exercise is going to be about 3 minutes. So that's on average. Some are 2.5, some are 3.5, but it's average about 3 minutes. And the easiest way to explain it is using our slow motion method. So what you would do is, like, for instance, a push-up. You would start at the floor, very straight body, and then push up to 7 to 10 seconds. So it's going to take you a really long time to get to the top. Wow. And that's time under tension. And then the top is actually only 2/3 of the way up. So when you're at the top, your elbows are still bent, because you're not locking out. You didn't go all the way up to straight arms. So you're still in tension at the top. And then you take 7 to 10 seconds to come down to the bottom. So it's barely moving, crazy slow. And then when you get to the bottom, the floor, you're only touching your sternum. So your hips are a little bit piked, your thighs stay off, your knees stay off. This is from toe push-ups because, we can do knee push-ups too, but then same thing, your hips a little bit piked. So your stomach isn't touching. So you're keeping that leverage on it, that constant tension. And then you touch your sternum lightly to the floor and then pause for a second and then real slow start out of the bottom. So you can imagine going that slow in a controlled range without any rest anywhere on either side. That's time under tension. And doing it that way, you can probably imagine how hard it would be to do 3 minutes of that, right? Yeah. So if you can do, for instance, if you could do 50 push-ups, good range push-ups, you would not be able to do more than 2 minutes of this. And so then at 2 minutes, you fail. And then when you fail, then you're doing the splinter technique. So you're done with the regular reps. Now you're doing the splinter techniques, which could be pulses, or it could be shifting right to left, or it could be wiggling your elbows. There's a lot to choose from. But then that keeps you in tension because you can't get to the top anymore. You can't go up anymore. So now you're just working where you can, where you are, to get more time under tension, to get complete muscle failure, which is strength training. So the time under tension is endurance training. And then the end, when you fail, is strength training. And that's how you get both. Mm-hmm. But that's just one of the methods. And then there's a stop motion method, and there's the ratchet method and Turendo method. There's 6 other methods besides that first slow one that I was talking about. And we cycle people through those methods constantly. And so they're getting new training for their nerves and their muscles by cycling through the methods. And we're also changing the exercises from time to time. So there's no way that people can plateau. It's practical, it's functional fitness, toning and defining instead of bulking, which is what most people want nowadays.
We're talking about push-ups and snacks. So this is my conversation with myself in the morning. When I have that busy day or my body is just not into it and mentally I'm getting defeated.
Yeah.
I always tell myself, shut up, Roman, just something.
Yeah.
0 is not acceptable. Something.
Right.
And the 3 reps of push-ups, 3 reps of crunches, maybe some pull-ups. And at least for that day, I've satisfied my brain.
Yeah.
All right, I wasn't 0 today. But
yes.
I like that idea of push-ups where you don't lock it in, because that's your platform, your break. Where you keep your elbows still bent and then you work down. So I'm actually I'm gonna try that. And see how that goes.
You're gonna do 3 of them. I know it. That's about it.
Well, I do different push-ups where you got your elbows out and then elbows in.
Yeah.
If I need to, do fast reps of multiple push-ups, I'll do elbows in, and I feel I think it uses more of your triceps, right? Muscle.
Yeah,
so,
more of the triceps and the front deltoid.
Yeah.
And then the hands wider with the elbows out is more pecs.
Yeah. So I'm going to try that out. That's actually an interesting, concept. I like no rest. The constant. What did you call it? Like Tai Chi, but you constantly pushing against?
Yeah, it's time under tension.
Under tension.
You're spending more time under tension, and you're avoiding any rests. The muscle cell can refuel in a quarter second. And so if you take that rest, then you're refueling the muscle cell, which is fine if you're a bodybuilder because that's appropriate. But if you're looking for strength and endurance in one workout to combine the two, then you're trying to avoid those rests, because the end result is you want to make the muscle cell run out of fuel. So it's empty, because only when it runs out of fuel and fails does it see a need for change. If you didn't empty the tank and it doesn't fail, then the muscle cell says, well, I could do that. Yeah. Why change? I'm good.
Adequate. Yeah.
When you change, what does the muscle cell change in size, in capacity?
Yeah. Well, in X-Gym case, because we're doing endurance training and strength training at the same time, it changes in muscle density. In the case of bodybuilding, it changes in size. And the reason that it does is because bodybuilders and CrossFitters are doing really ballistic, fast, jerky reps that create a lot of momentum, and you're getting micro tears because of that momentum in heavy weight. And at the top of the range, because you're moving so fast, you're getting little tiny rests. The muscle is getting rest because when you get to the top of the range, you built up so much speed and momentum that when you change direction to come back down, the muscle isn't doing anything. So it turns off. And if it has a quarter second, which isn't much time, it has more than that in a traditional rep on the way back down, it's refueling. Mm-hmm. Now, again, if you're looking for just raw power and for bulking, that's the way to do it. And so bodybuilders should keep doing it that way. But for people who want more endurance and functional fitness and toning and defining versus bulking, our way is the way to do it, to stay in time under tension to make it run out of fuel. So then it gets stronger, but it also builds endurance.
Well, when you use your body weight, is that called aesthetic? What do you call it when you use your body weight for exercises? Not.
Well, calisthenics is the most common word for that. Okay. Yeah. And that's fascinating. That's a fascinating world, the calisthenics world, because it's really in the last 10 or 15 years that's become a lot more popular. And if you just go to YouTube and you Google calisthenics, then you'll see those people are amazing. They're jacked, and they don't work out in a gym. They work out outside in a calisthenic park or something, and they're doing push-ups and dips and pull-ups and front levers and planches and body flags and all that fun stuff. And they're just playing like on a playground. Mm-hmm. And it's all their body weight. It's just their body weight. Do you remember Herschel Walker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So look him up too. If you aren't familiar with him. Older people like me know him, but
like me, same.
He was jacked. He still is. Uh-huh. I think he's in his 60s now, but he was a football player, Heisman Trophy winner, and amazing pro player, and just his physique was amazing. But he built it with calisthenics because he was too poor to go to a gym or have equipment. So he just used his body. And then when he got to the college, when he was playing in college and they had their version of the combine, one of the things that they did back then, like they do in the NFL combine, is bench press, 225 pounds, and you rep it as many times as you can. That's one of the combine tests. So Herschel's in line and he gets up to the bench and he goes, "Okay, can somebody show me how to do this?" And they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I've never done a bench press." And like, now come on. Because, the guy's jacked. Everybody knew him. He's super strong. Yeah. No one ever saw him in the gym. And he goes, "Yeah, this is my first time." And so he got down on the bench. And after 25 reps, he racked the barbell. And everybody's like, "Wow, that was incredible. Why did you stop?" And he goes, "Well, that's more than I saw anybody else do. And I just got bored."
Yeah, so wasn't Bo Jackson similar? Like he didn't lift weights either.
I don't know about him, but he was jacked too.
I remember I read a book about him, and I think he put a weight room in the front of his, I guess would have been his mansion, just to make people think that he used it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, these guys.
That's funny.
Herschel Walker. I mean, even 5-6 years ago, I remember him saying that he's involved in government or whatever he was doing, but he said that at that time he could still outrun most of the people in the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, as a 50-something-year-old.
Oh, sure.
He doesn't. I mean, so you're anti-aging. I get that. I think Herschel Walker is doing it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
So
he's definitely anti-aging. Go ahead.
Sorry. With X, is this calisthenic or is there equipment involved?
Oh, there's equipment. Yeah. We do mostly body weight training. So if you were to visit us 15 years ago, you would see a lot more typical gym machines. Mm-hmm. But we have evolved away from that and phased them out because our people want functional fitness. Gym machines are great if you're a bodybuilder and you want to get jacked. But if you're not, if you're more concerned with practical fitness, where you can do fun stuff outside, or like our members, they want to be able to play with their kids and grandkids and just run around with them and enjoy life and have a good quality of life, then it's about functional fitness. And machines are guiding your motions. And when you are doing free motion stuff, then you're guiding your own motions. And that is where your nerves are being trained, your coordination is being trained, and you're able to get better at sports, and you're able to do fun stuff. So like our gym members would be able to jump on a paddleboard for the first time and not fall off. Yeah. And they could have fun first time without ever trying it again. But if you were to put a pro bodybuilder on there for their first time, they'd be a complete oaf because they're doing uncontrolled motions all day because that's what they should be doing. It's perfect for bulking, but they're detraining their nerves because they're not focusing with their brain or their nerves or controlling their motion. They're just getting their reps in and they're talking to their friends or watching the TV while they do it. They don't really have to focus. There are some exceptions to that, some bodybuilders that really do focus, but most and by and large aren't doing that. And they're detraining their nerves. So that's the difference between machine training, uncontrolled motions, and free motion training and functional fitness with controlled motions.
That's interesting to think about. I didn't think about it that way.
I didn't either. How does the, with the equipment training, how does that translate to people who do it from home? Is this the kind of equipment that's easy to get?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like super expensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's suspension trainers. So you just, on Amazon, you type in suspension trainer and the TRX will come up and other brands will come up. So that's one thing. It's basically just straps, and you can use a door anchor to anchor it and put it up. And then you're doing rows and push-ups and different things. There's handles that are hanging down that you grab. You can lean back and do different exercises on that. And then there's carpet sliders or hard floor sliders where you can do things on the floor. Mm-hmm. And there's tubing, elastic bands, and then just maybe a physio ball, a Swiss ball. Mm-hmm. And that's all you need. So that's your whole gym.
I love the TRX bands.
Mm-hmm.
The tubing, every time I use anything with bungee, in my mind, it's like it's going to snap and smack me in the face. It's going to fail. It's going to have manufacturer's defect just for me.
Right.
I have a big exercise ball that my wife used, I think, when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
It's still got air in it. All the years later, it just doesn't look there. But I use those. It's bait to
use it?
Crack my back. Yeah.
To crack your back?
To release my subluxations is what it's called, I think. And then chiro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great for that.
How do you incorporate more of the psychology behind exercises with your clients? Can you give us a little more background behind it, just to understand it? My understanding, like for example, I like to run sometimes. Well, not sometimes. Like if I train for a run, I run, and it's weird because I would listen to specific music based on the mood or what I'm training for. And that's how it affects me psychologically. What is the psychological effect in your gym exercise for your clients? That what you have structured is kind of like a universal, or do you tailor per client?
It's tailored. Because everybody has a different brain type. Mm-hmm. And so we figure out what their brain type is. I actually have a brain type test that I developed too. And then we can be more customized. So the brain training that we do based on the brain type test will figure out how we can motivate them. We can help them with food cravings or emotional eating. And we can also help them with intensity so they can push harder. So it's different per person depending on which brain type they have. And there's 16 different brain types. But I can give you some examples. So let's just say Fred is having trouble with the quad burn on our quadrislide invention that we have. We have a lot of our own gizmos and gadgets and inventions that we have come up with too. So one of them we call the quadrislide, and it's a linear bearing machine on the wall that is just body weight, but it keeps them in track. Let's say that Fred he fails because of the quad burn instead of true muscular failure. So we want to get him to true muscular failure. So Fred's brain type has told me that he's going to be best suited for the technique where I'm going to be coaching him through that pain, and I'm going to be asking him to visualize a cold blue fuel washing over the quads that are burning. So as they start burning, he's imagining that the burning sensation is being washed over with a fuel that's cold and it's blue. And the reason for those cues is muscle temperature is very important for fatigue. And a lot of people think it's lactic acid that makes us fatigue, but nope, it's muscle temperature more than that. It's really hydrogen ions and muscle temperature. So what we're telling him to do is to trick his brain into thinking the muscle is cooler than it is, because the brain is the boss of the muscle, and the brain is the thing that's going to tell the muscle to shut down with too much heat. Now, the brain always tells the muscle to shut down way sooner than it really needs to. And so what we're doing for Frank, or for Fred, is, or you too, yeah. What we're doing it for Fred is we are helping him to trick his brain into thinking his muscle is cooler than it is. Plus, we're distracting him because pain is a pattern. So we're distracting his pattern by taking his thoughts somewhere else. And it's soothing because it's cold and it's blue. Blue is a soothing color. And so we're going to get 5 extra reps out of Fred because his brain is tricking his muscles, and he's consciously tricking his own brain into getting more out of it. And it's the last 1 or 2 exercise reps that make the difference. Because remember earlier, we're talking about failure. Well, you can only get to failure in that very last rep.
Right.
And if you can push yourself further to higher levels of fatigue, then you're sending that message to more and more muscle fibers for change, because you're making more and more muscle fibers fail. So if we can get 3 to 5 extra reps out of him with this brain trick, then we have affected up to 50% more muscle fibers than we could have. Because here's the end, this is really the steep part of the curve at the very end of the exercise, because the last few reps are the money reps. Those are the ones that matter. And if we can get a few more out of him, that's huge as far as how many muscle fibers we've sent that message to for change.
Mm-hmm. So I have a concern, and correct me if I'm thinking about this incorrectly. If we're tricking our brain to push more out of our muscles, am I understanding that correctly?
Yep.
Is there a possibility for injury?
Not with our methods, because they're too controlled and we're never using heavy weights. So because they're so controlled, form is perfect. Mm-hmm. Because you can't do bad form when you're going slow and controlled and focusing and thinking the entire time, and a trainer's telling you what good form, and if your form is starting to suffer, everything is happening so slowly, it never gets out of hand. Then the trainer is cueing you along the way and keeping you in that perfect form. Where injury happens is when the weight is too heavy or the momentum is too much because the motion is too fast or snappy and the form is crappy. That's where injury happens. So we're just never in that zone.
Sorry, is that what you were talking about, the CrossFit, the jerkiness that for the micro tears?
Yeah. And there are really good CrossFit instructors out there and really good CrossFit studios out there that are form Nazis, and that's great. They're really good at that. But CrossFit is also known for injuries. And that could be when people start to care more about their PRs and getting on the whiteboard over on the wall than form, and people, around them yelling and encouraging, which is great. The energy is awesome, but you get to the point where you're trying to push each other and yourself because of a number, then you could put yourself in danger because you could be compromising form or speed. Your body's going to want to cheat to get that extra rep, to get that new PR and all that kind of stuff. We don't care about any of that at X Gym. We don't have a whiteboard. We don't care about PRs. We don't care. Sometimes we don't even count the reps because it's all about time under tension and getting people to complete muscle failure in a safe way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So stay away from crappy and snappy, Roman.
No crappies.
No crappy and snappy.
We did used to have a CrossFit gym just not far from here.
Yep.
I think like a neighboring plaza.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they closed. Maybe too many micro tears.
Yeah. And like I say, there's some really good CrossFit gyms out there. And I've even recommended it to people that are, more into that style, and that because it's really good motivation for a lot of people. The X Gym is not for everybody. Our style is not for everybody. And there's been plenty of people that have tried us and said, no, I just, I really like the zen of traditional training, or I really like the intensity and the excitement of CrossFit and PRs. And I'm going, great, then do it, because, we're all on the same team. And bodybuilding is great too. If people want to get jacked, wonderful. Whatever can get you off the couch and get you moving, whatever motivates you to do exercise, no matter what the form, I'm all for it. And I consider all of these different gyms, we're all on the same team. We're not competitors. We're on the same team to try to get Americans healthy and get them moving. And because there's so many benefits, no matter what kind of exercise it is, it's going to be better than not. And for the brain and for the body, and there's so many different reasons. Even one session of exercise can change your gut microbiome, and favorably, independent of diet. So that's helping your immune system. It's helping your overall health. It's helping your brain. It's just, there's so many, I just can't even list all the benefits of exercise, because it's truly, if there were one thing I would tell people as far as the anti-aging goes, exercise. That's number one. Oxygen to the brain and moving your body. That's number one.
I do notice my productivity in the day that I've exercised. Like it's different. My brain functions better, more focused. The day I only had a snack, I can tell the difference.
Totally. Oh yeah, huge. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is kind of what you just mentioned. You're just circulation and energy levels, and you're getting everything stimulated from, all your tissues in your brain and your lungs and your heart and all that. So it's vitalizing. And the other is when you're doing exercise, you're creating chemicals in your body that change you and your brain wiring. And so it's a chemical dump ranging from just serotonin to dopamine to norepinephrine to hormones, testosterone, all those things. And you're going to have a better day when you do. And you're going to be more productive when you do, because also psychologically, you've just done something difficult. And so when people start their day and, everybody's got their big rock, right? I got to get this one thing done today. This is the hardest thing I have to do today. And most people will put that off until they don't do it. And then they put it off till tomorrow and they procrastinate their big rock. But when you do, because it's hard, but when you do something physically hard, like an exercise snack, for instance, then that big rock doesn't seem so big, and you're more likely to be able to get that done. So there's another reason.
Yeah. See, you guys are on the all-star team right now. I'm kind of like a reserve or like a second string. I used to work out quite a bit, but it's been decades now.
You did wrestling
Well, yeah,
Oh,
I did all this stuff, but like I'm just kind of here watching you guys in awe, like because I don't pay attention to shit. Like I'm just like if I didn't do something good today, I'm like I just get pissed off and like, but I didn't realize sort of connected to like sort of this psychological from working out the benefits of that.
Yeah.
I never self-analyze enough probably to be able to discern what the causes are of why I'm feeling that particular way. And I need to.
Mhm.
So
thank you. I'm just,
Yeah, right on.
if I'm asking too many questions or I'm getting into too many details, it's because I have these thoughts and I don't
Yeah.
who to talk to about it. So
That's great.
when I knew you were going to be on, I was like, oh my gosh, I can talk to somebody about this, and someone can explain to me what my thoughts are about these different, subjects and situations and physical conditions and psychological. Like, why am I listening to different music, different runs based on what kind of training I
would
do?
you listen to like Viking war music if
I
you
have.
let me finish? Would you listen to Viking war music if you're like sitting on the beach with like a nice little serene,
No.
like, so your music's got to match the scenery?
Yeah. So if I run the trail, I would listen.
You listen to like Bob Denver,
Viking.
or not Bob Denver, John Denver.
No.
Bob Denver was the Muppets, right? I meant John Denver. Like, so if you're running in a trail, you got nature and shit, you listen to him?
No, so if I run through trails, I actually listen to like a Viking deep, like Rory kind of sound, like that kind of music melody. If I run flat grounds and I'm training for time, I listen to like heavy metal. But it's not the kind of music I would normally listen to. It's I don't know what it does psychologically. Why am I choosing different?
Your thoughts on that PJ? Is it artificial stimulation, or is it something you find people need or want?
Yeah, it's motivation. You're activating different parts of your brain with different types of music. And what you have discovered about yourself over time is which songs and styles of music works for which parts of your brain you need to be activating to motivate you to push harder. And to maybe it's a distraction for you. Maybe that particular song or style is a diversion. It's breaking a pattern and keeping you out of a state of suffering or something like that. I don't really know, but that's my theory. And that's what I've seen with other people. And that's probably what's happening with you. All of us are doing experiments on ourselves every day. Most of them we don't know that we're doing. Most of our actions and thoughts are the same as they were yesterday. So we repeat a lot, but we also try new stuff every once in a while. And as we do, we learn about ourselves, and then we come to conclusions and discoveries about ourselves. And then we know what works for ourselves. And I tell this is another reason for the brain type test is what most trainers do is they tell their client, hey, here's a PDF, here's what you should eat, and here's what you should do, and go do it. Now, they've found that works. The trainer has found that works for them over time with their own experimentation. But there's an 80% chance that client's going to come back and say, this isn't working for me. I don't know. And then the trainer replies with, come on, just suck it up and have more willpower. They don't realize that their client has a different brain type than they do. And their client need to determine which brain type or do experiments with that person to figure out what works for them because everybody's different.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one more question about the exercises, and now I'm curious more about the anti-aging part of it too. Do you work with athletes who are, let's say, they do martial arts, jiu-jitsu, if they are CrossFitters, but they want different exercise outside of CrossFit, if they're football players, basketball players, do you tailor exercises for these athletes to either maintain, to tone, or get stronger in, like, if you're a hockey player, you want to be good at punching?
Yeah.
Like, do you tailor the exercises for athletes based on the sport they play?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why the functional training is so beneficial, because we're also training their nerves too. So we're creating more coordination, better control with the athlete, better endurance. Just today, I took through a new member, who one of his main goals is he wants to be better skier this winter. And so we set up his program starting with ski squats on the vibration platform. And we have ski poles because we do this a lot with people. And, he's got the poles there, and he'll use them in the last few reps, but the first few, he's not going to need them. And because he's on that vibration platform, it's like doing squats on Pluto or Jupiter. So the gravity, it's like turning up the gravity. It's like 3 times gravity is what the vibration platforms do. And so it makes it harder, but more efficient, and training his nerves and muscles better. And so that's just one example. And then, so with the vibration platform, we can get done in 2 minutes what we could get done in 3 or 4 minutes just on the floor. So it's kind of a hack on top of a time hack, but that's going to more intensively train his nerves and his muscles. So he'll get results even faster doing it that way, for his ski squats, doing it that way, for really rapid results for this winter skiing.
Nice.
How about holistically? I mean, I don't know if that's something you offer, but how do you feel about I guess it's part of getting your mind right, but do you encourage any kind of meditation, yoga, stuff like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're training the brain when they're working out with us, and because of the focus, they are actually meditating. It is a form of meditation. The basic definition of meditation is just focusing on something, on one thing. That's what meditation is. So in our case, it would be focusing on the exercise that they're doing. And the intense is very intense focus. So we're not like your typical personal trainer that's also a part-time psychologist where, you're talking with them about your day and your life and your relationship stuff. We don't have time for that. And we're too focused for that. And it's only 21 minutes. And so people are just coming, they're getting their workout, and they're focusing and they're concentrating, and they're using their prefrontal cortex to do all that. So their brain is getting stronger, and they're meditating. And so that's why it's another form of stress release, not just the physical release of the exercise and the exertion itself, but the brain focus. And so they're getting all of that. And that's why people comment more at our gym than other gyms about how much less stress they feel, because they're getting a meditation session every time they're getting an exercise session in.
Sure. Perfect. Yep.
Tell us more about the anti-aging and how that is involved in exercise.
Well, anybody that is working on health is also anti-aging. And there's really the top 5 things for anti-aging. Number 1 is exercise, because you're getting oxygen to your body and you're increasing the health of your mitochondria and oxygen to the brain. And then number 2 would be eating right and getting enough hydration, like filtered water and other filtered hydrating beverages. Number 3 would be quality sleep. Number 4 is brain training, working your brain and rewiring your brain. And one of the things for anti-aging is to change your attitude about aging. If you research all the blue zones where people are living over 100 parts of the world, they all have a great attitude about aging. They're looking forward to their next adventure. And they do not say, "Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm too old for that." Those phrases aren't in their vocabulary. They're just like, "Oh yeah," and they're open and they're excited about tomorrow and what this next phase of life is going to bring. And then number 5 is close relationships. So it's about working on relationships with people and having close relationships. It only takes a couple, really. I mean, some people can have up to 5 close relationships, but beyond that, it's probably going to be more of just friends and acquaintances. But if you have 2 to 5 really close relationships that you're regularly working on, that's anti-aging. So those 5 things are the secret to anti-aging. And when you're doing that, then you're aging much slower.
So blue zone is the term for people that live longer?
Well, blue zones are areas of the world.
Yeah.
There's a book about it. Yeah. Where those people will live past 100. You have a lot of people living past 100 in these certain blue zone areas of the world. And they're all very active. They all eat very well, and they get good sleep, and they learn new things. They work their brains, and relationships are very important to them. Mm-hmm. So those are 5 things that are common with all the blue zones. Different zones will eat different foods. So, but it's all good nutrition. It's all real food and good hydration. They're walking a lot. They're very active. And so those are the 5 secrets to anti-aging.
So yeah, the U.S. is probably like a brown zone because it's just crappy. Like, right. We're like the most obese country in the world. I mean,
for sure.
I appreciate that, it seems that everything you're doing is trying to combat that, and
Mm-hmm.
there's other doing it for sure, but it's just something with our country that is, I'm sure it's all money driven, which is why people, are doing this. But I never heard of that term. So, and I didn't know 100 was the threshold. So
blue zone or anti-aging?
No, blue zone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. It's easy to Google and look up, and there's a really good book on it, and several books on it.
Sure.
But yeah.
And when you say anti-aging, it's just prolonged living, not so much
making yourself look younger.
Yeah, making yourself look younger.
Exactly. It's quality of life.
Okay.
So anti-aging is important whether you're going to live until you're 70 or whether you're going to live until you're 110, because it's all about quality of life. It's about not feeling your age. Maybe you'll look your age, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter what you look like, but it's about how you feel. It's about the vitality, about what you can do, and not having the normal limitations of people who are getting old and saying that and feeling old.
Mm-hmm. So I like what you've mentioned about anti-aging, the factors, right? The relationship, the sleep,
exercise, nutrition.
So those are the things that is not expensive. What I find eating healthy is unfortunately expensive. Right. That would be kind of like the tough part, because I'm trying to, look at all demographic of people in different financial situations. How can they look at their situation and combat that and work on their anti-aging and not be restrained financially. And, I like that those factors play a role where you don't have to think about that, it's expensive to do that. Oh, it must be nice for these people, but we can do it. So it's doable. Just that one factor that comes into play where eating healthier. And you've mentioned that you guys talk to your clients about what you eat. And is this something that you do? Like you work on nutrition part of it with your clients?
Yep. And starting with real food. So anybody, no matter how their economics are unfolding, can eat real food instead of processed food. And so what I tell people is buy your food from the outside edges of the grocery store. Don't go down the aisles, because the outside edges are where you're going to find the real food. And read your ingredient list. If it's one ingredient or there is no ingredient list because it's only one thing, that's real food. But if you pick up a bag or box and the ingredient list is a paragraph, that's not food. That's a food-like substance. And if you change to real food, and that's not expensive, and if you have a bigger budget, then you can choose to go organic, and that's of course better. But the first step is just start eating your real food, and just switch to that.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy theory about this. So, the processed food, it's just shit, junk food, right? So,
Mhm.
but it's dollar driven. They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You don't feel full office, so you eat more. All these things. It
Mhm.
relates to more healthcare. So now it's a money grab, and
Yeah.
I always think, like, I wonder if our government, doesn't care about people living longer because they don't want those people that are living longer to suck off the system,
Mhm.
such as Social Security, when you could have the younger people contributing and making money to go into that system. So then you're kind of like, peg them off when they're old and move them in when they're young. That's my theory. I don't know if it's my theory. It's my thought.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's not so much government; it's the corporations that make it easily
But
accessible.
government is approving this bullshit food that people are buying.
Well, again, it's finance driven. I feel like it's nowadays. I feel like being in government position is more of a business.
Let's
as
get the
opposed
expert.
to-
What's the expert
as
say?
opposed to serving people. But yeah. What are your take on that, DJ?
So, well, I think it is a conspiracy, and it does come to money. So, the processed food is full of artificial ingredients and specific ingredients that they make that are synthetic, that aren't actually food. Anything that's not a real food is processed, and a lot of it is synthetic, and it's been manufactured in a factory somewhere or a lab. And, maybe it's even a drug, of sorts, not a prescription or anything, but they put those things in there to make it's called the bliss point, where they're messing with your brain and making your brain believe, oh my gosh, this is so much more delicious than real food, that I have to have this. And so they're creating an addiction to their product because they want you to come back and buy more of it. And the chemicals and ingredients that they're putting in there also mess with your satiety system so you don't get full.
Yeah.
So you keep eating it. So now you're eating more of their product and you're addicted. So you're going to go back and buy it again. So that's profit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's the other part where that is also making you unhealthy, but they can keep you alive with drugs.
That's right. Yeah.
And so you're going to be really unhealthy because you're eating this processed food. Then you're going to have to go get those drugs, and they're going to make money off you that way too. And they're going to keep you alive longer as an unhealthy person with medical interventions, and keep selling you that food and keep selling you those drugs while they keep you alive, miserable and unhealthy. So how's that?
No, so you're absolutely right. And I have the perfect example of this. And Roman's going to hate me, but we went to Delaware last week.
Mm-hmm.
On the way down, I had found these certain flavor of corn chips that's really popular. Roman ate the entire bag.
Not entire,
You did.
not entire bag.
Well, but when you say an entire bag, if it's like 14 inches, it's only full to like 7 inches anyway.
Yeah.
You
Right.
ate
A lot of air in there.
You ate
Yeah.
6.5 inches of it.
I've never had Taco Bell flavored Doritos.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, dude? Take these away from me.
It's everything PJ says. They want to addict you, and then you don't get full. So that's why it's so easy to binge and
But
eat a box of Cheez-Its.
it makes sense. It's as if fast food industry and pharmaceutical industry, it's like they're colluding. They're like, oh yeah, this is perfect formula.
Yep.
It is, yeah. And through research and through their labs and scientists, they have figured out that perfect formula, and they have captured us. But the first step is just knowing that they're doing that, just the knowledge, and then looking at the paragraph long ingredient list of things that you can't pronounce, the words that you've never seen before. And those are those ingredients that I'm talking about. So just looking at that and then getting mad because of their manipulation of what they're trying to do to you to make you addicted, but it's also making you unhealthy. Their main purpose is to make you addicted. But the pharma companies love that it's also making you unhealthy because now they get to treat you with their medicines to keep you alive.
Mm-hmm. Nope, 100% for sure.
Well, what's this? What's the popular weight loss drug now? Oh,
Wegovy or Zepbound or
what starts?
Yeah.
Oh,
GLP-1.
Ozempic.
Ozempic.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of them, and they're all
Right, so it's
GLP-1
like-
antagonists. Yeah.
There.
There's Appetite or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. There's several. Uh-huh.
I just don't think that's good for your body. You might
Yeah.
see instant result. Well, not instant, but faster, expedited results. But it's just like, what are you doing? Are you just tricking your body? You know, and you gotta have a will too. Get mad,
Mhm.
have a will.
Yeah.
I didn't eat any fast food for a long time, like no drive-through burgers or anything like that. And then
Mhm.
I don't remember, we were going somewhere and I told my wife, it's like, yeah, I'll have a Burger King. Screw it. And I had a
Mhm.
Burger King. I was like, whew, man, my body was like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this?
That's when you just take a bite and throw in the toilet. 'Cause that's where it's going to go.
I had number
Right.
2 all day. I was like, my body was so mad at me.
Yeah.
And again, I haven't touched
yeah, I don't
fast
either.
food. I mean, my biggest thing is Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but it's just because it's cheaper than Starbucks. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's amazing how what a difference it makes and how different you feel when you're eating real food versus processed food. It's just night and day.
Especially if you've changed. Like I've lost a ton of weight cutting out all that bullshit, right? But it's amazing how different you feel once you don't eat it, and then all of a sudden you just want to try it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like Roman says, your body's like WTF, you know?
Yeah.
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 what is
Exactly.
What the Frank?
Right.
what is your take on those companies that do pre-made meals? So I've started. We had a guest on our show, and there's a local company here in Central New York that does portion control. You know, based on whether you want to just lose weight or if you're an athlete, they pack more protein in those packs. It's pre-made kind of food. You can structure it for your week. It's frozen. You know, it's made fresh, packaged. They source local ingredients, freeze it, and then you kind of like.
But that's pre-made from the outside aisles, right?
They outsource.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have clients or do you have any experience with that?
Oh, yeah. I think it's a great idea. For really busy people, it's fantastic because what you're doing, even if you can get a couple different kinds of services like that, you can get the ones that just deliver the ingredients and then you put them together and make a meal, or they'll deliver a meal, but it's not cooked. And then you cook it, that last step, or they'll deliver something fully cooked and now you're just reheating it. So all of them are great, especially if it's real food, like we were talking about, because what they're doing is saving you the step of shopping and prepping. So you're not doing the shopping and you're not doing the cutting and portioning. They've done all that for you. And that saves a lot of time. So for people where, time is important, that's fantastic. And for people who have their own time that do have enough time that for the shopping and the prepping, then I recommend that because there is something that almost magical that happens to food when you're doing the prepping yourself. And the digestion improves, the absorption improves. And scientists don't understand yet what that is, but it's when you're interacting with food, then you are actually changing the molecules of that food. I know it sounds weird, but Dr. Emoto, a Japanese scientist, first discovered this, that energy, like mood and intention energy, changes the structure of water. And food is mostly water. And so when you're preparing, especially when you're grateful for it or you enjoy it, then you're changing your own digestive system, changing your own body water, and you're changing the structure of the water in the food. So there's that part. But even if you're not doing that and you are just ordering real food, then if you are thankful for it and you show gratitude for it, like praying before you're eating, then, which I do. And because I'm thanking God for it, but also because I'm grateful. And that they have done studies that show that actually changes the structure of the food to make it more digestible. But you're also changing your own structure, your own body water structure to prepare for the food that's coming in. And so you're giving yourself a step forward in the process, and you're going to absorb it better. It's really cool stuff, but there's a lot to it. But it just gets back to the point of do what you can to eat real food.
Right.
And if it means someone else is doing the prepping and the shopping and you're ordering that, or if it means, whatever, doing it yourself, just that's the first step. It's just start eating real food.
Yeah. Can't beat the direct, fresh food from your hands, cook and
Well, even the flavor.
And eat it. Yeah. Can't beat that. I like the convenience of it. A huge time saver. I actually waste less food. I find that, you buy a bunch of stuff at the groceries, you cook some of it, you don't finish, leftovers get, stay out too long. Then you're like, okay, it's garbage now. So there's less of a waste, time saving, less dishes. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, you're saving time before and after.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing the shopping and the prepping, and then after you're not doing the dishes. So yeah, there's a lot of time savings to that for sure.
And you're saving water.
And saving water. And my mom sometimes would say too, is like, because I would say, oh, your pasta tastes so much better than the restaurant, I mean, of course you're going to say this, but my mom would say, she would say, it's because I cook it with love. And
bingo. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. And that's legit.
Yeah.
It is. When someone else made, who cares for you, makes your food for you, it's going to taste different.
Yeah.
And even if you were to do a blind test where you bring out somebody that hates you makes your dinner and brings it out, and then someone who loves you makes your dinner and brings it out, you're going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, because
I'm going to try that because I hate you.
Well,
and then your wife can make some food, so then we'll see if you can tell the difference.
A person who hates me is going to poison my food. So.
Right. This tastes like, why does it taste like arsenic and this tastes so good?
Right.
Why is this rice plastic?
We could do that. We could try that. See when
I just remember my grandma too would say that is because like you said, the energy behind that meal, the preparation, the care of who's going to eat it versus in the restaurants there are some chefs who are so passionate with you really enjoying it. It's for them it's art and passion, and that food is amazing. Yes. And you go to a restaurant where it's just like, let's quickly get this pumped out. I'll give you a great example.
Like a chain.
I like meat and I like it cooked certain way. And unfortunately, the way I like it most money driven, like more like let's make more money quickly, that steak will taste different in a place where let me take my time. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a professional chef. Care how my food tastes to the guests, and that's where I taste the difference.
So you're okay with waiting to get it?
I would rather wait longer and have delicious food than something that's rushed and I'm sending it back and I don't like it. Now I worry about sending it back.
Well, and that's
what are they doing with it? I don't want to eat it anymore. It's like
That's the problem. That's the problem with our country. Everything's in a rush. I mean, you go to Italy, it's going to take you a while to get your stuff, but they're taking it's not pre-made. They're not scooping it out of some metal bin with a sterno can or anything and throwing your plate. So
I'm okay with it.
Exactly. And when you go to Europe, and Italy is a good example, it's a completely different experience when you're eating a meal. You're not in a rush. It takes a long time. You're sitting there. You're mindfully eating. You're talking with the people at your table about the food and the taste and the texture, and you're appreciating it. You're thankful. Your gratitude, and the chef in the back is a master chef. They love what they're doing. They're passionate about it, and so that's a big reason why everything tastes better. In situations like that,
there's just instant gratification in specifically in America. Everything is I mean, not even food. It's just even your work life. Everything is just a rush. Everything's quick. Everything's now. Everything. You see people drive that way. They take siestas in Mexico. Like for working, they like work 4 hours or whatever, and they sleep for 2, and they go back to work. Like, like all these things that are different in the U.S. that you don't get. That you don't. It contributes to the problem we're having.
My experience in Europe has been people are so much laid back. They stay up late too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're getting better sleep. So our 12 hours of bullshit sleep is equal to their 4 hours of awesome sleep.
So, PJ, what's when you said before good sleep? What's good sleep?
Like
if there's a way to get a sleep tracker, then that you'd be able to tell better. My favorite is the Aura Ring, but you can get a free app on your phone where you can put it in the corner of your bed and it can do a kind of rudimentary okay job at it. But of course, you'd want to put it in airplane mode because you don't want your phone by your head the whole time you're sleeping. But that, and then start to biohack it, because everybody's different with that. But you want to get, at our age, you want to get about an hour of deep and an hour and a half of REM minimum. And then the rest is light sleep. And all 3 phases are useful and good. But then the total time would be around 7-ish hours. For younger people, they need 8, and kids need even more than that. But
dog needs like 23.
Yeah, the dog needs 23. Exactly. So that's what quality sleep is. It's getting your REM, it's getting your deep, and then making sure you get enough light in your 7 hours that you're asleep.
Mm-hmm. So if there's a way to monitor and track it, figure out what's going on and how to make the adjustments for better sleep.
Yeah. And the best way to, even if you don't have a sleep tracker, the best way to prepare for sleep, because you gotta get ready for that, is cut off screens an hour before you go to bed, and then do some meditation, just focusing. Meditation's simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate, and it doesn't have to be a certain style or, buy a program from somebody. It's just sitting and breathing and just focus on your breath. And all it is 3 to 5 minutes. And just relax and breathe and notice how the breath feels going out and how it feels going in, and control it and try to slow it down. Maybe be mindful of your heart rate, or maybe focus on something in front of you, and just stay focused for 3 to 5 minutes, more if you can, but that would be, the minimum dose. And those 2 hacks, the screens and the meditation, will double your sleep quality. Huge.
I took Japanese martial art, and in the beginning of every class, we did a stretching and then about 2-3 minutes of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's control of breathing, and what kind of thoughts, what are you thinking about during the breathing? So, and we all kind of chose our own energy. So in my head was, I would picture as if my arms are in the circle, and there's a ball floating around, touching the edges of my body, my balls.
Your what?
Whoa!
Something's touching your balls? Is that what you just said?
My hand, my arms.
What is going on here? Why? All right.
You could
Let's
meditate.
talk about crappy and snappy now. Wow.
You could meditate.
No, he said bowels.
Yeah.
Bowels.
Did you say balls or balls?
Dave, no, no, bowels.
Oh, you said balls, but you meant balls. I got it.
But it was just about breathing and how you process the thoughts during the breathing. And so it was refreshing. It was like a reboot, kind of get your mind ready for the class.
Totally.
And you're standing, you're burning calories, and I feel like we're lazy. We're not burning any calories. We're sitting down and drinking beer. Is there an exercise to burn up beer gut?
I've been moving the whole time. I mean, I had to burn at least 6 calories.
Right.
Tell PJ standing.
Yeah, I like to stand. Sitting isn't as bad as everybody says it is, but I do recommend that people break it up between standing and sitting through the day. So they're not doing sitting all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need to stand all day either. You know, we could sit down some of it, but even if it's just half and half, you know, up and down, that's great. But not just for, you know, metabolism benefits, which there is some of that, but just for muscle tonus and flexibility. Because when people are sitting down all day, then they're more likely to slouch and, you know, lean forward, and their hamstrings are going to get tighter because their knees are bent all day. But when you're standing, your legs are straight. So your hamstrings can't tighten up over time. And you're more likely to, you know, just to be standing up straight instead of hunching forward like this, where most people do when they're sitting. Because when you're sitting, you can be more relaxed and your body will tend to lean forward. Yeah. Plus, if you're sitting down looking at a monitor, then you're probably going to have forward head posture because you're going to go forward like this. Because you're trying to get closer to what you're looking at. And same thing with the phone and driving. So if you think about posture of a computer with the keyboard in front of you and looking forward, and your shoulders come forward and you're bending forward, that's what most people are doing when they're on the computer. Exact same posture when they're on their phone, and the exact same posture when they're driving. And so between computers, sitting, phones, and driving, we have that posture most of the day if we're not trying to consciously reverse that. And then we become hunched. We get the forward head posture. And that's a problem. And that's where you see those old people walking around, you know, with those looking down at the ground as they're walking, and their spines have literally grown that way over time because any force that you put on a bone is going to change the bone.
I see.
So if you have that constant force on the bone, it's going to go that direction. My very first client was 77 years old when I started with her. She had the little old lady hunch. And then by the time I opened the X Gym and kind of moved on, she was 84. She had grown an inch and a half.
Because she's not hunched over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
She still had the old lady hunch, but not as much.
Yep.
So she was slowly reversing and her bones were actually straightening back up. And while all her friends were getting shorter and more hunched, she was going the other direction, inch and a half. And people were noticing, and her family even. They're like, are you? No.
No.
Yeah.
It was just wild to see because the bones were changing back and she was actually getting out of that hunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Posture is very important. I tell my father all the time, fix your posture.
Yeah.
And I can tell when someone doesn't have a good posture, depending on how they go up the stairs.
Yeah.
You can see the ones that kind of slouch over and use the railing when they go up the stair.
Yeah.
You don't have to be old. You could be younger. And I can tell by if you have a good posture or not, how your body looks when you go up the stairs.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And she actually kind of got me addicted to training older people. They're so fun. And she, like I mentioned, she was my first older client. Everybody before her was, 30-ish, 40-ish. They're busy people, and then when I got her as a client, I was thinking, well, I don't know how to do this because everybody that I've trained so far is younger and, they're really active but I'm going to figure it out because I like challenges. And I did. We got really close, and older people are wiser. They're more in control of their emotions. They're more interested in other people. And they're just so fun to be with. And so as a result, we also have a lot of older people at the X Gym, 80s and 90s. And it's just a blast. It's just so fun to work with those people.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
PJ, is there anything you want to add, or maybe we haven't touched on? Fill in and
Or how people can get a hold of you, or kind of take advantage of what you have to offer?
Yeah, I'm easy. It's xgym.com, xgym.com. And, if people want to get on our socials, you just scroll down at the bottom of the homepage for the links. And, there's ways to get a hold of me through that and to learn about our program and our app. And the brain type test is braintype.me. And that's about it. And the only thing I think I would want to leave with is just the encouragement to people just to get started in what you can do. So if you don't know how to get started, or you think, gosh, it's such a big time commitment, I don't even want to start because exercise takes so long. No, it doesn't. It's moving is what it is. Just start moving. Start with that. Don't even worry about exercise yet. Just start with moving, and make that be going outside your house and walking around it. That's day one. Maybe day two is the same thing. Keep walking around your house. And then when that's easy or boring, then walk around your block. And just to get a habit established, so you're doing something active, even if it's tiny, even if it's a push-up, it's something every day that's as regular as brushing your teeth. And maybe you want to attach it to brushing your teeth, or another trigger, another habit that you already have established. Then you say, okay, well, when I shave, I do 5 push-ups before or after. And you attach it, and then that becomes a pattern, and patterns become habits, and habits become part of who you are. And then you can add to it. But it's building the initial foundation, and then building on that foundation that creates a healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. I want to add something. If you think it takes too long, 21 minutes is not long. I bet you spend more time on social media than 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put the damn phone down.
Yeah. If people don't have time to do something short like that, even if it's just an exercise snack, people will say, oh, I don't have time for that. Well, if you actually looked at your day and how you spend your time, yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. You can cut something out that's not benefiting you, that's not serving you, and put this in place of that. And you're going to be better person because of it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, PJ. I was looking forward to this. I know we had a hiccup earlier, and I apologize for that.
Thank you.
We kind of got on a little bit later than our scheduled time, and I was rushing like a maniac. Ask Frank. I was like climbing over these wires, and new studio, new internet connection. Right. So I appreciate you not being upset with us with that, and thank you for your patience. But I was really looking forward to having this conversation. It's just such an important factor in our everyday lives that we really need to think about this. And what you do and how you look at other gyms, how we all equal, and you're not so competitive and talk down about other gyms. It really shows how big of a person you are.
Yep.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been great. Yeah, it's been super fun talking with you guys, and glad that I was here.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me.
Stay tight, and we'll talk to you in just a little bit. So I just want to say thank you to all the listeners and followers, and I want to thank Hopped Up Network for also hosting our podcast. And stay tuned on Instagram, where we're going to be doing the giveaway shortly.
And Roaring 20s Brewery.
Roaring 20s Brewery for sponsoring this podcast as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
To remind you that 60% of sales on Amazon come from independent sellers, here's John from Devil Dog Pet Company.
We run our family business from Sterling Heights, Michigan, but we can reach customers all over the country thanks to Amazon. Good boy.
Shop small business on Amazon.